Heyo, heyo, welcome to the party.
Happy Wednesday.
Indeed, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. All right, so I'm a little bit more prepared than I normally am, and I have topics for us to discuss today, which I'm very
Perfect.
excited about. First, how are you doing, Bailey?
Good.
you know,
Ready to yap as always.
indeed. I'm This is not a sponsor or anything, but I'm a big fan of this new mug root beer. Have you tried this diet mug root beer?
I wish we were sponsored. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
right. That would be amazing. Which one are you drinking there? What is that one?
Blue slush.
Lonnie? Okay,
Oh yeah,
blue.
Blue slush is my favorite.
Madeline's been crazy into Alani lately. She's like trying all the flavors and stuff. She likes the I think it's pink slush or
Yeah,
something.
the slushes are my favorite. Those are my
Okay.
favorite ones. But I
All right.
have a running theory about Alani's
Oh, I want to
specifically.
hear it. Yeah, let me hear it.
Um, well, okay, so like I hate getting my hair cut. I hate getting my hair done, whatever. So I cut it myself, and I've been cutting it myself. And recently, I've had to cut it so often, and my hair's like never been one to like grow fast. And same with like, okay, this might be weird, but like my leg hair. So I've been thinking about getting like laser hair remover on my legs. And um, one of my friends told me that the B12 in the amount of B12 in Alani is the reason that my hair is growing so fast. And I typically drink like 2 Alanis a day. So I think that's why. But I also, that could be wrong. And I could just be
Well,
running with it.
I mean, listen, if you got to wait for me to grow some hair, I'm in. I'm
Start drinking 2 Alanis a day. There you go.
I mean, I'm pretty well sold. I'm going to be buying some B12. Just hearing
It's
that, I'm
like,
like,
I
could it
swear.
be me? What if I could have golden locks again, like I used to?
I mean, it's worth a shot, if not.
You guys no one even understands because everyone who knows me now only knew me when my hair was just a sad remains of what used to be. But boy, I was so excited to have long, beautiful hair when I was young, and I would play with my hair all the time. And I think
I
God
wish you
just,
enjoyed it more. You
yeah.
didn't appreciate it enough
I
when
think
you
that
had
like
it.
exactly. I didn't appreciate it, and I took it for granted, and then so God punished me and stole it, and then now it only grows on the sides and my back.
Have you seen the memes about, which I never thought about this until I saw it, but about how bald men, they either have the shiny head or the matte head gene? Like
Oh
some
no, I haven't.
bald men have like very shiny, like reflects the sun, like whatever. But then some have very matte, like very flat bald heads. And I learned from the comments that some bald men shine their heads.
Shine
Or
their heads. All right,
yeah,
that's
they like have products for it. That's why their heads are shiny. It's not like a natural phenomena that just happens.
well. I don't use any products. Well, I do shave my head, and that there is a product that I put on after I shave. So I
So
mean, that could
maybe
be
that's
what's
the
making it shiny.
shiny
Also, yeah, right. If you see me at the gym, it's probably shiny because I'm
is
barely
sweating. Yeah.
sweating. Yeah, yeah. I'm a sweaty guy, embarrassingly, actually. Actually. Okay, well,
No.
let's jump into one of my topics because I'm excited to.
Okay.
I have a couple that I'm excited to jazz on. To jazz on. That's a weird word. To talk about, to yap on is what I
Yeah,
was going to say.
that's a
I'm
good one.
jazzed to yap about.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, all right, let's jump into it. Okay, I'm going to go with the most controversial first, just to get it out of the way. All right, so is this or is this not the best administration at marketing? I think at a bare minimum, Donald Trump, I has one of my favorite examples in marketing that I always talk about, and it's that when he was first running, so the 2016, well, maybe not first because I think he toyed with it a couple times, but in the 2016 election, he did this like brilliant, or someone on his team or whatever did this brilliant political marketing strategy where he he basically drove like about 1,000 users using like an overseas like one of these like basically like traffic buying sources, but instead of having the link come through as www.nextlevel.com or whatever, nxtln.com, instead of coming through that way, it came through as vote Donald Trump 2016. And here's why I think that's such a brilliant strategy, because the only people, everyone is trying, especially with political campaigns and stuff, you're trying to target business. A lot of times they say to me, like, how do I reach business owners? How do I reach, wealthy people, whatever. These people are typically managing their website. And the only people who would even notice that, especially at that time, were the business owners or like the marketing person who would go and be like, where did all this come from, and have to and report on it. And so it was, to me, so brilliant, because it targeted, I don't know who did it on his team. I have no idea. I've tried to look it up, but of course they, sometimes those things are like so veiled. I have no idea. Like somebody just did it, maybe because sometimes people are just diehard fans. I have no idea, but it was really, really smart. And I think it reached a lot of people. Another favorite example of Donald Trump at marketing is they used, it was all during that Cambridge Analytica thing. One of the parts that really stuck out to me with those reports was that they found out that New Balance shoes was this like common metric in like white dads. And again, it's like everyone's trying to reach these people, and they found like the one kind of common thing. So they targeted New Balance shoe people who buy New Balance shoes. And when you think about that in practice, that is like such a perfect thing. Like that is exactly who wears, especially again at that time, these like New Balance shoes. It's like my dad wears. And so like the idea, like, boomer dads or whatever, that's who they were trying to target, and they've targeted them through New Balance shoes. And so I've long said that Donald Trump was, I think, one of my favorite marketing presidents. I mean, he just really, like, this from a marketing standpoint, whatever you think about his policies, as a marketer, he's very, very talented. I mean, he's like literally groundbreakingly talented. And then now with this like induction of, I also think Elon Musk is, I mean, his marketing ability is underrated. And I think, again, I don't know how, I have kind of mixed feelings on Elon Musk as of late. Like
me too.
I don't love that he owns a company and is, obviously there's like, some conflict of interest here, but whatever, we could talk about that, but that's not what I want to talk about right now. What I want to say is, like, as a marketer, this guy is so smart, because him owning X, like all I see, like, it's like, is he trending all the time, or does he just make sure that he's trending? Is there like a memo that's like, make sure Elon Musk is trending? And the world will never know. Like, you know what I mean? If you go on X, he's always trending. Ahead of this meeting, what made me think about it was, like, ahead of this meeting, I was trying to see like what's trending on X, and he is all, like, everything is related to SpaceX, Tesla, Elon, literally his name.
I just want to say, fingers crossed that there's a rocket going off today. I hope it goes off today.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Because I have a senior dad trying to make it to senior night tomorrow, and if it doesn't go off today, it has to go off tomorrow. So I'm really hoping it goes off today.
Oh, I was gonna say, because we see there's so many here that
I know.
Honestly, speaking of taking things for granted, is like, there's so many rocket launches, I can't keep track of them all. I know. Like, sometimes I just look up, I'm like, oh, sweet.
We're in the middle of a game the other night, and we're like, rocket, like, just in the middle of a game. Like, it was so casual.
Pretty rad though. Pretty rad to live somewhere where you can take that kind of thing for granted. But anyways, all that to say, do you have any thoughts about this administration and their marketing?
I do. Well, I think I do, unfortunately, want to commend the previous administration for the way that they, because they kind of took charge of like the marketing in terms of like TikTok. They really bought into like the influencers. But where I think the previous administration failed is that they were marketing to a bunch of high school kids who can't yet vote. So like, you have this market, but like, why? Because that's not the market that you're actually looking for this election. And then in terms of like the Trump administration, I feel as if they're playing chess while the Biden administration was playing checkers. And one of my favorite, I know it's random, but one of my favorite like chess moments of the Trump administration is there was a Kamala Harris HQ page, and they like disabled the page, and the 404 error page was like, we have been unburdened by what has been undone. And that
Oh,
was like
yeah,
the
yeah.
one statement that Kamala
Yeah, yeah.
always said. And I was like, that's like, whoever thought, like, there was probably like an intern's task, right? But like,
Yeah.
in every aspect that they infiltrate, or the previous administration infiltrated, they're just like, every avenue is like being like turned back to the way, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like
What I think you can
humorous
learn,
way.
honestly, from both of these guys, what I think both Elon and Trump, I think what you can, and I know obviously Elon Musk is not part of it, you know, whatever, but he is part of it, whether we elected or
I
not.
could say some things about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, go
Everyone
ahead.
wants to say I didn't elect Elon Musk. Well, where was that kind of sentiment when Bill Gates was out here
That's a pretty good point.
disrupting all of the scenes? Like,
Sure.
I didn't vote for Bill Gates, and he got all the say on a lot of different aspects of a lot of things. So,
Sure.
you know, it's kind of, I look at those very similar.
Sure. And I mean,
Do I agree with everything Elon's saying right now? No.
it is a little bit scary, I think, like
That's what, just the amount of power.
And it's like at this point we're kind of left to either trust that they were doing it. In my opinion, it feels like we're like left to kind of trust that everything was right on this side or everything's right over here. There's no like, I think it's very obvious that kind of both people have their own agenda, and so it's like different to me. It's like, I don't know. I'd like to get to a place where we're not, I hope that we're getting to a place eventually where we're not being ruled by different billionaires, you know what I mean? Like a billionaire here, or is it going to be this, you know, whatever. Like, I would just rather like, hopefully there's like a place where everything kind of settles. But anyway, to kind of conclude this administration at marketing point, I think the thing to take away, the takeaway, I think for anyone, what we can learn is that just simply by like moving forward, they have a lot of great tactics and strategies, but just by like keeping the party going and going and going, like a lot of businesses that come to me, that have come to me over the years, like with like PR issues, and they say like, in our small, you know, it's usually like, it's nothing like crazy. It's more like, you know, my son did something that I'm, you know, ashamed of, or like I got a lot of bad reviews and I'm trying to kind of battle that. It's, you know, it's not usually like anything all that grand. It's like my kid got arrested or something, you know what I mean? But I think what my overall point is, like, if this administration can just keep moving, my God, so can you. Who cares if your son got arrested? Just keep the party going, and just keep kind of putting things out and staying top of mind. And it really doesn't, like, we think that these things matter and we think that everyone is like listening and cares, and the answer is really just drown everybody by moving on, you know, and just moving forward and forward and forward, and you know, your PR disasters will go away. That's my advice. I don't know. That's what I think we can learn from it. From this administration.
I can't remember the name, but there's like this trending topic right now about, there's this famous lady who didn't want her address posted, or like there's this photo of her home on the internet that only had 6 views on it, and like 4 of those views were her lawyers to try to get a petition to pull the image off the internet. And since the petition, it somehow went viral, or I don't know how it ended up, but now the image of her house has like millions and millions of views because she brought it to the attention of everyone rather than just like letting it go and like moving past it. So like, the more you bring attention to the problems, the more of the problem it's going to be. But if you just keep pushing through it, you just keep going, it'll work out. Like, people look for the next new news story every day.
Yeah.
Just wait for the new news to take over it.
Just keep swimming.
Yes. Just keep swimming.
A little bit like Dory, I think. All right. Okay. So this next one I'm excited to talk about because, I feel like I have talked about this my entire career. All right, here we go. Our hashtag's worth it. What do you think?
50-50.
Do you think that like adding, what I mean is obviously, but just for the viewer, I know you understand, Bailey, but what I'm saying is like, do you think that it's valuable to go through the trouble of adding hashtags? And if so, how many or to what degree on, let's say, Instagram, TikTok? Is it different per platform? What do you think you go?
I do think it is different per platform. I think people
Okay.
try to use it more consistently, but I don't think it is very consistent across platforms. I think the landscape of them has changed. So like on the platforms, they'll sit here and tell you to use them, but I don't think it like rewards you the way that it used to. But I do think it's a good way of classifying and kind of like getting like the keywords for whatever your content is, because those hashtags are still written. So it'll still matter to the search, right?
Mhm.
And like me specifically, like I do still search for things by hashtag, like on Instagram. TikTok, I don't know as much. Like I almost feel like when you put more hashtags on TikTok, it is worse for you. Like I think the algorithm like sees you as trying too hard and doesn't reward you. What's the opposite of reward? Punishes you rather than rewards you for it. That's just my theory. I don't know how true that is though.
No, I mean, here's what I think. Here's what I think. This has kind of been my opinion since, I don't know, probably about 2016, is that you have the wrong, if you're like worried about hashtags, you have the wrong goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
That shouldn't be your main goal at all.
right. And I think like, to me, it's like another way that I would describe it, it reminds me of a strategy we used to use for SEO where you would keyword stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we could like get away with like, let's say we could put like a black text on top of a black background and you wouldn't be able to see all the text, but we would just dump a bunch of keywords into a website and no one could see them. So like the user didn't know any different, but to the robot, they would see like all this, the robot.
I think that works on TikTok still.
I think that works. I think that works.
And on Instagram.
Everywhere.
I did that more often than I did hashtags.
But the thing that to me, the reason that it's like, I say you have like the wrong you have the wrong goal is like you're basically, you're trying to game. I think all of these things are like trying to game the system.
Mm-hmm.
And a much better strategy is not to game the system at all, but instead to try your best to just keep consistently creating.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, and like, I think I'm a giant hypocrite because if you go through my account, you'll see that I recently used gym talk on my TikTok and I tagged it. And even as I was doing it, I thought, oh, I hate this, because it just feels like wrong to me. And again, it's not that it's like that it doesn't work or that like there won't like be periods where like you can get away with like the black text on the black thing and like get all those keywords in there and that, maybe you get more viewership, but it's just the wrong goal. You don't want like viewership for the sake of viewership. You want people to find you. And I think that the algorithm, and here's a little bit more data backed opinion about that. I think that the algorithm, the way that they work now is, and my only point is they know what you're viewing already. Like they're not confused what's in the video. Like the tool itself can analyze the video and understand this is a weightlifting video. I should show this to people who like weightlifting videos. Like I don't think that they're like now. I don't think you're fooling anyone, including the robots.
Yeah. Well, I almost feel like the gym talk or like the book talk or like the different sides of TikToks. I think that's kind of, now that I think about it, changed the way that the algorithms kind of interpret the hashtags, because now that I'm thinking about it, it's almost like, which I guess is true, like the larger creators are the one who sets sets like the scene for the hashtags for like what else should fit on Gym Talk or like the For You page or the Explore page of people who are consuming Gym Talk content. Does that make sense? So it's like you as like a smaller creator who is trying to do hashtag Gym Talk to try to make their stuff go viral, it's not consuming it the same way as if a larger creator did hashtag Gym Talk.
Do you think that like larger creators, when they do like what you're saying is it's important for like a smaller creator, maybe less important for a larger creator?
No, I think I was saying the opposite.
Oh, okay. So
like
you're saying
I think like it doesn't really matter. Like, or I think like you were saying how like you like if you're the smaller creator, you're the one who looks like you're trying too hard to game the system to get in on the Gym Talk of what the larger creator set the aesthetic for. Like if your Gym Talk video doesn't match what the larger creators set as like the aesthetic for Gym Talk, it's not going to feed into that. Does that make sense?
I think so. And I think that there's like a difference too in a couple things like I think there's probably like niches where like hashtagging, like I don't know, like let's say like a wedding. I think that was a really like kind of a fun way that where people used hashtags, and it's a little bit less common now, but you can still like go to the hashtag and search up like all of the people who use that tag and were at the wedding, you know, see pictures of yourself. And I think similarly, if you are like, let's say you make I don't know, ceramic pots or, you know, some kind of like niche, like I'm thinking like bonsai pots or something, you know, something where it's like very specific groups. It might make sense to, in those cases, use one or two hashtags because you're trying to like, you know, find new people but a much better strategy would be to reach out to those like, or not even reach out, but just engage with those types of content. You know, I've seen a lot of people create like marketing recommendations that I would maybe the first time in my entire career that I think they make a lot of sense. One of them is that you should go engage with other people in that community. That's something I've been saying for a long time. It's like if you're into, again, bonsai ceramic pots, maybe you do use hashtag bonsai pots or something, and that would probably expose you to some new people. But a much better strategy would be to go find other people that are making that type of content and just engage with their posts and say,
yeah,
like,
I agree.
Great pot, that's beautiful. And I think inevitably, whether it's the algorithm or people searching through their comments or that person specifically just being pretty chill and sharing your shit, that's a much better strategy for growing in that audience, I think.
No, I completely agree, because if you think like when you're trying to grow your account, you want other people either in your industry or people that you want to join your community, you want them commenting on your stuff. So return that or start that favor, and then maybe hopefully they'll return the favor too. But like, don't expect people to comment on your stuff if you're not going out there commenting on other people's stuff and providing the engagement. If you provide it, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, cool. I feel like we beat this horse all the way to death.
Sure did. One thing about a dead horse, I'll always beat it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Beautiful. Well put. Okay, here we go. Bailey, how on earth do you find out which audios are trending? I see so many people recommending audios. I absolutely hate when I hate
those. That
someone being
content,
like, "Oh yeah, this is a trend. Get on this trend."
I know. It bothers me.
One of my least favorite things. First of all, if you're watching this, that is total horseshit. That is not true. No, they don't know what audio is trending. Those creators have zero idea what's going on, and they're totally guessing. And I think what they're really saying is like, somebody recommended this to me. I suspect usually who recommended this to them is like when you go in to create and it says like this was a recommended audio. What say you? What do you think?
I think you're discounting the fact that a lot of people are paying for that nowadays. So a lot of artists are paying for people to promote their audios. It's a very big thing, especially in the music industry. Like nowadays, if you tease like a single release and it doesn't get enough views or engagement on TikTok, the single will not be released. So it's like very much a game now. Like it's an extra element to it that a lot of stuff is pushed because like think about how many people probably share the same management company. Like yeah, there probably are a lot of social media management now, but a good quality ones probably come from the same agency, or at least, like here and there, they have multiple clients.
So then how do you find if that system is no good? We can't trust the influencers because they're getting paid by a musician. How do you find them?
Well, kind of a combination. Like one, if it's a video that I'm watching and like I want to remake it, I'll go directly from that audio. Two, if it's just a random video that I throw together, like for the lacrosse girls, like they'll have a couple videos of them at practice and I just throw it together. That one, I'll just let either Instagram or TikTok pick the audio for me because it just needs to be like instrumental, like upbeat or something like that. And then I just like click through the ones. But saying that, it's also very interesting because the recommended audios on the Instagram for the lacrosse account is very different than like the recommended audios on like my personal Instagram. So it's very much dependent on what you consume and what you use, because I think me consistently using the upbeat game day audios it's going to continue recommending those versus on my personal one, I use more like just calming, like beachy music on my stories here and there. So it recommends like those ones to me, not upbeat game day type of stuff.
I think, this kind of reminds me of what I just said in the last block, which was about basically like this is, to sum up my thoughts, this is the wrong problem. You're looking at the wrong problem. I don't think you should necessarily even consider which audios are trending as much as, trying to use the right audio for the video that you're making.
Yeah, that's what
And I think like you said, like sometimes it doesn't even matter. Just pick an instrumental one. Who cares? And I think sometimes also, or the way that I look for what's trending is I look at what's trending in my feed, and my feed is filled with people because I'm engaging with other businesses. My personal feed, my personal brand engages with other businesses. And so, just basically by kind of definition of who I'm talking to in the way that I use Instagram, that's what I see is trending. And I think it's trending again, in my opinion,
in your realm,
in my realm. And so that is a much more relevant trend than what's trending kind of overall. So I guess I would just say, like, if a person is asking this question, I would say, I would kind of flip that question and say, why don't you consider like, what do you see that's trending, in your community? And that's because when you try to get ahead of trends, this was like my problem. Bailey has heard the story a billion times probably, but like the mannequin challenge was my favorite example of this, but there were dozens of them. Salt Bay was another one where I told my former partner, I said like, we got to do this Salt Bay thing. And he was like, what is it? It sounds dumb. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's kind of dumb. And then like the weekend would come by and he would be like, all right, let's do it. I saw a bunch of videos. Let's do it. And I'm like, no, it's past. It's too late now. It's going to be stupid if we do it now. And then you get to it later and it's like, I don't know, like 2 weeks later, people are still doing it. We could have like totally taken advantage. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is like, you have to kind of develop an eye for what is going to be popular is, I think, a much better, if you're going to look for what's trending, instead of looking for what's trending, find things that you think are gonna be trending,
Mhm.
and try to become like discover for yourself what people are posting and what people are doing on the internet. And I think if you consume the internet, you will kind of inevitably be ahead of the zeitgeist of what's so a better strategy. So to the TLDR of my point, because I know I can wax poetic, is that I think instead of asking how do I find out which audios are trending, you should just see what audios are trending in your community, and that's a
Mhm.
better place to start. What say you?
I think it's a interesting point too that have you heard of Nara Smith? She's a model. She's married to Lucky Blue.
No, I don't think so. I was
So
thinking interview guy, but no.
she does like these cooking videos, baking videos where like everything's from scratch, whatnot. But she like basically started a trend, not really intentionally, but people found out that during her earth in the background of all of her, they're voiced over, but in the background of all of them, she puts like very soft classical music and she talks in a very soft voice. So the way this became a trend is that people were pretending to mock her, talking in a soft voice, and they put the classical music over top of it. And it became a huge thing. People were like, today, or like, come with me to prep for my colonoscopy. And like, it's like the most random stuff, but it's like funny because they're following like, rather than Nora Smith, I know she's a huge influencer, but rather than her finding trending audio, she set the trending audio for herself so that anytime people hear this audio playing, they associate it with Nara Smith. That's why it became the Nara Smith trend. So if you're not using a trending audio, at least use an audio that's consistent with your brand.
Oh, that's such a good point, because like people do, I used to, I don't know, a couple years ago I went really hot on this like audio branding. I think so many people overlook the opportunity to create an audio brand. And what I mean by that in this world today is like the noises that you hear, the sounds that you use, the type of audio that you have, that's all part of your like if you're a business and you can add like a ding sound to like all of your videos at the beginning or at the end, like that is such like a valuable branding tool that you could build now and use for like in perpetuity, like all of the mediums, you can use that in your videos, you can use that in your, you know, in office, or if you're in a retail space, you can have that kind of dinging sound or whatever somewhere. And these kinds of things, like they stick in your brain way better if you add in that kind of audio sound. A better example, obviously I use Shane all the time, but he likes to use, or there was a time where he had like kind of like a gunshot or gun shells sound that he was using a lot. And like, he's a veteran, and it, just kind of fit his brand really well. And like, I think that was supportive of that kind of idea, because I love the opportunity for an audio brand. So in today's world, what you could do, like any business, is kind of like pick, again, for my personal brand, I'll just use as an example. I listen to all kinds of music, but I pretty much only share like 90s metal, hip hop, and alternative rock music. And because to me, that's kind of like my brand, is like that kind of genre and that kind of era of music. And so like I try to have that kind of music in all the videos. And so now, like, people, for example, they'll hear 90s songs and they think of me. And to me, that's kind of me. That was on purpose. Like I to be honest, I really like Miley Cyrus's most recent album. I listen to that with my daughter quite a bit, but that's not the background of any of my videos, because like, one, I would be humiliated to ever tell anyone that, but also that
You just love the internet.
yeah. But also, it doesn't fit my brand. That's not something
Right.
Cool jam, the classical music, whatever, that's cool, but it doesn't really fit. I like classical music sometimes, maybe a better, less embarrassing example. But I wouldn't necessarily share it behind my videos, because it doesn't really fit. And so, yeah, overall, I think, the way you find out which audios are trending is either either consume the internet yourself and discover what audios are trending by what your peers are posting about, or the other option is you have the wrong goal. Like focus on making great content and use an audio brand, make your own sound, and make your own audios trend. Don't try to game the system because you will lose at that. All right,
Still
great.
no.
One final, yeah, exactly. One final one here. Okay, so we are professionals in the game, but it's difficult to do all of the platforms and to do all the platforms at the same time. For example, right now I focus a lot on Instagram. That's the platform that I enjoy the most. So that one's not difficult to create on. I enjoy it, but I have to practice, and I have to like remind myself to make TikToks and threads and I don't know, tweets, X's or whatever, YouTube shorts, YouTube videos. This is really us practicing live streams and YouTube videos. And so I'm curious, Bailey, how do you practice social media?
I'm a bad example. I would say because of the way that we work in social media, I have less desire to use any of the knowledge that I know on my own personal Instagram. I mean, like, I don't have any desire to grow my personal Instagram. I just use it for funsies and to keep up with my friends' lives that live in different states, like to see fun stuff. And so, like, I just post my stories here and there. Like, I don't use social media for growth. I use it for pleasure. So it's like I don't really use any of the tactics, the strategies, stuff like that because I don't want that for myself. I could, I don't really feel like it because I spend so much time like putting into other people's social media accounts or like my lacrosse social media accounts that when it comes to my own stuff, I'm like, who cares? No one wants to see that stuff. So I'm not very good at it.
You get plenty of practice managing the existing accounts that you
have. Exactly.
Yeah. So what I do is, especially for like I said, Instagram is the one that I like. I try to like schedule it in. I'm a big routine person. I don't get anything done unless it's in my routine. So like the platforms that don't come naturally to me is I try to just have a routine, and then I also prioritize. And I don't think, in marketing, it's really easy to do or get, I don't know, kind of like analysis paralysis when you're trying to create on every platform. And I think it's okay to say that I can't do it all, that I can't do all the platforms. I can't, sometimes I'm not going to make a YouTube short. I want to, I think it's really valuable. I think it's so valuable. I think it's really valuable to post on X right now. Some of my posts or whatever, tweets, whatever you want to call them, do really well there. But, right now it's like some of them do really well, some of them do really poorly, and I don't have as much fun there. And so it's difficult to get there. So, I mean, I think the first thing is like, give yourself probably some grace. There are a lot of tools that you can use to post like at the same time everywhere. And I'm not opposed to those. I think that's a good strategy. Personally, I prefer logging in and doing each platform itself because I think that I'm a professional. So to me, I like to like know what it feels like to make these posts all the time. And I think you can kind of lose, I don't know, touch with what the tool provides.
I agree.
Like kind of, yeah, exactly. So I do like to get my hands dirty and go in and log in and make the post. That being said, I don't make all of them all the time, but I pick one and I try to focus, and then I try to have like routines. Again, this is a great example of a way where we've kind of added in a routine where we do some amount of live stream, at least a little bit every week, and a little bit over a long time adds up. Yeah, exactly. Just like anything.
Yeah, I think the thing with social media, it's best to just meet your business or yourself where you are. If you're only capable of making 2 social media posts a week, but 2 social media posts a week is easy for you, start with that. Like, don't make something more complicated than it needs to be just to get something posted on social media. Like, remember, it is just social media.
Literally, I think, like at a minimum, I think people could post once a month.
Yeah.
I really think
To show that you're just still in business, that you're still open. Oh, they posted a month ago. Okay. Like
if you're doing nothing and you go from doing nothing to posting once a month, I bet you get pretty good engagement. Like, it probably, at least at first, especially if you do like that one post, you make it a good one. You I don't know, to use kind of like our best practice kind of guide or, something like that to kind of craft a post. But I mean, but even if it's not a good one, again, if you're going from nothing to making a post, it's going to be much better. And if you start with one per month, just like anything else, you might find, I guess I could do one a week, eventually. And then eventually it's like, well, I guess I could do Monday and Wednesday, if I have to, or whatever. Just
build on it
before you know it. Exactly. And also, cross post. I think that's a great, these days, everything's 9:16, meaning vertical video. Everything's vertical image, vertical video, or not everything, but many things are. And so you can get away with, a couple of images and just post those same images or media across all the platforms. So, really just the real thing is just schedule it in. That's how you practice, is you force yourself, just like you were learning an instrument or learning how to learn a new language. You'd have to practice a little bit every day, and that's the way you practice social media.
Yeah, you gotta practice.
Indeed. All right, cool. Well, I feel good about that. All right, great.
Sir.
Well, now look at that. We went longer than normal because we came in with topics. Exactly. I think that was cool. I enjoyed that. I hope that the audience.
I did too.
All right, great. I'm going to end this stream. Let's get to work.